Ooh, welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we have another great show. Day 2 of the 8-day every division thing that we're doing. We have a terrible name for that.
Yeah, it's a little wordy.
Yeah, but it's, I think that's the best way to do it.
It's okay.
My favorite TV show is How I Met Your Mother as a kid, so that was wordy. That works. All right, we are doing AFC East today, talking about the mom fucker himself, Zack Wilson. I think we're just going to spend 30 minutes on that, right?
We should.
We honestly
it's
should.
Worth it.
He got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him.
All right. If you don't know, we are going, division by division, having some fun with it, talking a little bit of fantasy, who we like, who we don't. Just kind of getting back into the swing of things. We took a break for the off season, kind of chilled there for a minute, and going hard again. AFC. I guess start with Jets, right?
Yeah, let's run it.
Start with Jets. What we're doing with every. I want to start with some kind of.
And I've been whooping ass at this.
Dude, you've been doing really good. So guess the line. So I'm over here. All right, let's do Zack Wilson over under total passing yards or passing touchdowns. Let's just do passing touchdowns. Let's change it up.
Okay.
Actually, I have passing yards and passing touchdowns, so we'll do both.
Okay, I'll double down. I'm an idiot savant. I'm one step away from Rain Man, so I'm usually pretty good at
You've been within 50 on every yards question, and I don't think I've done a touchdown question with you yet.
No, but I'm going to say Zack Wilson yards, 37.50, and touchdowns, 18.5.
All right, you are within 2 on the touchdowns. So 20.5. I mean, you wouldn't think it'd be lower. You were about 2,500 off on the on passing yards.
2,500.
250. Excuse me.
God damn, he's throwing for 5,000 yards.
3,500 is the line.
Okay.
I would take the over on that. I feel like that's.
You take the over.
I feel like he crushes 4,000. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I'll say this: the guy out of everybody in the NFL who has the most money put on them for MVP is Zack Wilson. Just because his odds are great enough to where he's in that plus, I think, 2,000 range, but he's the most realistic one to be able to make that next jump. And we've seen historic jumps from second-year quarterbacks coming into the league, and hopefully he can cement himself as the next Burrow, the next Herbert, the next so on and so forth.
I think this is the dude. I really do. I'm so hype on this team in general. I am so hype on every aspect of this offense. I don't think this is going to be a team that really competes for a deep playoff push or anything. I do think they're going to be in the running in the last couple games as a team that there's a shot for them to make the playoffs. I think they're going to have that type of game or season, But what I really think is fantasy wise, offense wise, I just see all the pieces. I mean, maybe not the greatest offensive line ever, but I see a huge jump from Zack Wilson, who I absolutely loved last year. Did not get the praise just because he wasn't one of the big names in college, and there was other guys in his draft class that were the big names in college, and he was the number 2 pick. But I think he had every right to be the number 2 pick. I think you saw enough flashes last year to think, oh crap, this dude could make a historic jump. This dude could make a Josh Allen level jump. This dude could I think he has the talent. You can't convince me he doesn't have the talent to be a top 5 guy. Now I'm not saying he'll ever hit that. That's his ceiling, obviously. But I think he has that type of ability. So I would say crushes 4,000 yards. Let's talk about the rest of the pieces on that team in general.
Before we do that, we got to talk about the offseason stuff though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What happened with Zack? Because I think it's one of the things. He got that dog in him. He ended up winning over a lot of his teammates, believe it or not, because there was this unspoken thing about Zack Wilson. I'd seen it. He looks very, very young, little bit of a baby faced.
Yeah.
He looks like he's from BYU, which primarily is, it's the
goody two shoes.
Goody two shoes Mormon campus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So there was a photo that went viral on draft day of him standing next to all of the other big recruits that were about to be drafted, and it just looked like he was out of place and uncomfortable. They were all dapping each other up, being like, "What's up?" They got their necklaces on, just dripped out. Zack Wilson is standing there, just looking like he's going to Sunday morning service.
Yeah.
Now it has come out that Zack Wilson cheated on his girlfriend with his mom's best friend. And it all started on this Instagram thing where so now Zack's ex-girlfriend is dating his old best friend, his college roommate.
Yeah.
And it's become this whole thing to where she was called a homie hopper. And now she went, nah, I'll tell you who the real homie hopper is. It's him. expecting some backlash to come out. Zach Wilson now has the best-selling jersey. The most MVP money is put on him, and every single one of his teammates are just
loving it,
head over heels loving it. People show up to the
so
games
funny.
now. I see custom jerseys with Zach Wilson, and it's MILF Hunter. All of them.
It's going to be great.
It's his thing
it's
now.
Fun. It's
and
like,
why not roll with it? Have fun with it. It's good. I think it's going to help him out overall.
It's so, like, because you can look at both sides of it. Like, we're both, dumbass 20-year-old guys that, like, of course think it's hilarious and all the whole thing.
Yeah.
But just the aspect of this girl thought he was going to be shit. She was going to be shitting on her old dude. And, I mean, it brought him into superstardom. And really, like, I think across the, like, if you just would have told me that headline, I would not have guessed that it would have gone this way.
No.
Like, I wouldn't have it wouldn't have bothered me personally, but a lot of headlines don't bother me
either
personally.
way, I didn't see it becoming a thing, but now
it's insane.
It's just the fact that everyone was like, man, he got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him. Dude, the when that came out, the memes that night, like in the complete offseason, were the best football memes I've seen in a long time.
God, I love them.
Just so good. Constant. A great story. I agree. Well, why even talk about this team? Let's just talk about
I'm saying set that, and now we can roll into it because the hype is through the roof with him now.
Hype is through the roof. And look, it was, for me, like, I know I talked about the football side. I believe that regardless of, the mothers that he sleeps with, but I don't care. It's awesome either way. Got to talk about the receivers just a little bit, keep us on track a little bit here. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, those are the top two. Elijah Moore, early second round pick last year. Garrett Wilson, 10th pick overall this year, their second first round pick. This team has a lot invested, in early picks in this offense. Team, on paper, it's looking like a good young roster. Are we expecting, Garrett Wilson, my comp for Garrett Wilson was like discount Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson style. Like, I think he's that style of wide receiver. Like that's what I saw coming out. Yeah. Maybe not quite the level of route runner that the other two were coming out, but like that type of guy. Can you see that type of rookie season? Now, and just to be clear for those listening, Justin Jefferson broke Randy Moss's record, and then Jamar Chase broke Justin Jefferson's record the next year. So saying that type of season is a historic type rookie season.
Historic levels back-to-back from those two. I don't think Garrett Wilson has that type of like the ceiling that can be eclipsed.
Yeah.
But I do think he can be the most fundamentally sound route runner. Mm-hmm. His game is so well polished in all of the other areas where if you look at the class of receivers who just came in, Jamison Williams, he had the speed. Drake London, he had to go up and get it.
Yeah.
Chris Olave had the possession hands.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had an area where they were better than Garrett Wilson, I would say, if you were tick for tack.
Yeah.
But every single one, Garrett Wilson would be second, over and over, consistency-wise.
Very consistent guy.
Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore, I've heard good things out of Mike LaFleur. He's their offensive coordinator, speaking so highly on how they are just edge for edge, iron sharpens iron, competing against each other. And we still have a Corey Davis who hasn't gone anywhere, who gets to play outside on the X. So, I mean, they have a lot of names. It's a really, really good core. And I've also heard that the way that Brees and the way they're utilizing him in the passing game, too. Don't forget, at Iowa State, he was able to line out wide, and some of his best highlights were him going up and get it against some guys at running back. His fantasy stock is through the roof. There's a lot of guys that I definitely want some shares of. And as long as their defense can stay healthy, I know they're making Sauce earn that Sauce name in camp, so they're putting him just through a gauntlet.
On the one, right?
He's been doing good, but the defense is going to have to rise to the occasion because, I mean, it's a hard road.
Yeah, certainly will be a hard road because they have some tough teams to play in their own division. We'll touch on Patriots here just for a second. I feel like the most boring team to talk about in this.
And that's what Bill wants.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to touch on the Bill Belichick? How he's run this offseason, not naming any offensive or defensive coordinators, not bringing in really other than Devonte Parker in the trade with the Dolphins, not bringing in any marquee wide receivers. Same running back. The offense is about the same. Ramondre Stevenson looking like a guy who could have a good step forward, but I mean, Damian Harris is still there. Kind of a weird offense. Like, did Mac Jones get enough help around him? Is Devonte Parker, who's good for about missing about 6 games a year?
You said it right with 6 injuries.
Yeah, 6 injuries. Honestly, as a Dolphins fan, I love him when he's on the field, but man, he is not on the field all the time. Did they do enough? Do you think?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so in the grand scheme of things when it comes to going for a Super Bowl window. I'm never going to doubt Bill and what he's able to do on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he can take your best aspects, one or two, and just shut them down. But I just wish that he would get away from the conventional script of just being boring. I mean, this man is just vanilla as it gets. Devonte Parker, I've heard, is doing good in camp, and he's going to be the one. I'm sorry, I just don't think that that's a Super Bowl roster, though.
Yes, we're just here to win games.
Yeah, I know.
We don't care.
We're here to win games, and we're just
football.
boring as it gets. And put your hoodie on, your sleeveless hoodie.
My preference is to win 6-3.
Yeah.
Mac Jones can throw the ball 7 times, and
he threw it less than that. He threw it less than that.
You like my bill? I've been working on Bill.
It's a good bill. It's a boring bill.
It's a boring. Yeah, she's a boring bill.
That's about right, though.
All right. I don't have anything else. Defense is going to be good. They're going to win 9 games. They're going to suck to play. You're never going to be excited to play the Patriots. I mean, they're going to have the best game plan every week, pretty much. They're it seems like even when they had a terrible roster, they were winning 6-7 games, which was like the best.
They're fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
They will take the brightest offense in the whole league and play them on Thursday night and shut them down.
What is the fantasy football player to have here? Who's the guy you want from the New England Patriots?
You could not pay me money to have anyone from the Patriots rostered on my fantasy team. If I had to,
You're drafted in the 9th round. Everybody's available. Devonte Parker in the 9th. I like Ramondre Stevenson. He'd be the only guy that I would really look at.
I could never touch a
Patriots running back is tough to touch. It really is. Yeah.
I think Bill intentionally tries to piss off the fantasy community. Yeah. I know he really didn't give a shit about it at the end of the day, but my God,
they'll take Pierre Strong and run him 30 times in a week just to fuck over the guy who started Ramondre Stevenson.
Just to do it.
All right, let's get to me the most interesting team in this division, and I am a Dolphins fan, but I really don't think I'm being biased here. The most interesting. I'm not saying the best. Obviously, we know the Bills are the best team in the division, but the Dolphins, have the most interesting subset of outcomes. Like anything could happen with the Dolphins.
A lot of different storylines.
Yeah, too. Absolutely. Give me your 2 cents on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, we'll touch on the suspension, not the owner's suspension for the tampering with Brady and Peyton. You lost a first-round pick and a 4th, was it? I mean, third.
First in 2023, third in 2024.
Man, they cracked down hard on that. But I'll say this: your owner has good taste. If you're gonna cheat, by God, go get Brady. Yeah, go get the GOAT. That's fine.
If you're gonna gamble, look, I said this when it came out, and I'll say it now. I would have gambled a 1st and 3rd round pick for a chance to get Tom Brady. I would have done that.
The Patriots Spygate happened against the Jets on a Sunday night noon game.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why? If you're going to do it, go do it to get Sean Payton, one of the best coaches of all time, and Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks. A lot of your moves top to bottom roster wise, it's great. It is a Super Bowl caliber team, but I feel like we're still here with the same question that we've said 2 years in a row, and you can go back and watch our videos and double check this just to make sure. Is Tua the answer? We are still here wondering that. I don't know. The big news out of training camp is his animosity towards the media, from which this first part is really wrong. His marriage getting leaked, and he was trying to keep that under wraps. And of course, in today's media, when you have the spotlight, there's nothing you can do about that. The next thing is that he's very upset that people realize he can throw the ball. He was pretty pissed with some people out there. He said, "I guess it's just a surprise to most people that I can throw a ball. I'm an NFL quarterback. I should be able to." I was surprised.
Yeah, no.
I think I can throw a ball farther than you, Tua.
It is overblown because I'm a certified Tua hater. I am. I got my card in the mail coming. Certified Tua hater. Still heartbroken we don't have Justin Herbert on the roster because he was there, and we bought into the lack of leadership from Justin Herbert, and Tua is a great leader, so it's awesome. But look, at the end of the day, Tua can throw it deep. Tua can do everything you want. He just doesn't have the crazy arm strength. You just hope that he can make up with it with quick release, which he does have. Give him the credit there with good decision making and very good accurate throws, which he does have. Within 10 to 15 yards, he's incredibly accurate, and he does have a quick release. He's not just this dog shit terrible quarterback that the media kind of has put into our brains because he didn't immediately have success.
And that's the problem. When Burrow and Herbert did, and Tua was still ready to get going.
I mean, I still remember that rookie year when we had Fitzpatrick starting, and really Fitzpatrick never Tua should have sat for a year. He's just coming off that injury out of college. They never should have switched. I think the owner made that decision honestly, just did because they wanted to see Tua. And that was 2019, 2020. Yeah. So that might have been Tom Brady might have had something to do with that. They might have said, "Hey, we really need to see who this is, or if this is the guy before we make the move on Tom Brady." I don't know. That's purely speculation. That's going into the weeds. But in general, I remember watching Burrow and Herbert have so much success early on in that season and be like, Man, how many times do we have 3 great quarterbacks come out of our draft class? Like, you see 2 every once in a while, but 3? I don't think that doesn't happen.
Eli and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. I don't know who was the 4th guy in that class, because 20 years ago we might be asking the same question about who the 3rd guy was in this class. I don't know. I hate to say that. I'm not big on Tua. I do think we're going to be looking for a new quarterback next year, just because this is a quarterback league, and we've seen it. We're home bases in Tennessee. We've seen the Titans have above average quarterback for the past couple years.
And what's the biggest thing the fans complain about?
And they fucking hate him. They absolutely hate him. They went from a bad quarterback in Mariota, and I'm sorry, I know he's getting another chance and he was fine or whatever, but couldn't get it done in Mariota. Tannehill comes in and is better, and by all accounts is probably in that 15 to 18 range of top quarterbacks in the NFL. Above average in most statistical categories, and everyone hates him. Tua is below average in most categories, and if he doesn't change that this year, it's going to be over. I just say all that to say, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I just say all that because I'm a Dolphins fan. It hurts.
No,
you want a top 10 quarterback. You don't want a top 15 quarterback.
You're allowed to talk about that. It's okay.
The Vikings fans aren't happy with Kirk Cousins. The Titans fans aren't happy with Ryan Tannehill. I'm sure there's other options. The Raiders fans are just coming around on Derek Carr, who had to prove to everybody year over year that he's clutch and borderline top 10. It's just one of those things. It's unfortunate. We'll see what happens with Tua here. The rest of the team's awesome, though. I 100% believe you take the quarterback out of the conversation and you go top to bottom from 2 to 52 roster wise, we're a top 5 roster in the league.
You are.
We have, and
receivers are absolute dynamic weapons. We have
four running backs that can be starters. Yes. Our offensive line is incredibly improved. Our defense, top 5 in the league last year, and really haven't lost anybody of note. Yeah, we're studs all across the board. The Dolphins rebuild has been great. We're just missing the most important part.
And it's a matter of, do they buy in to first-year coach now?
Yeah.
It takes time to do that because the roster is already built. Mm-hmm. Brian Flores did a phenomenal job coaching this team top to bottom, buying in. It was the dissonance between him and the owner and what the future of the program was going to be as to why that caused the split here. And I think it was, which one owner wants Tua?
Yeah, owner wants to.
Flores was done with him a while ago, and we take the shot.
We had an opportunity for Deshaun. The story came out. Deshaun was going to the Dolphins, and the only thing that he had to do was settle his cases with everybody. He offered, I think, $1 million each to everyone to settle the cases right before a trade to the Dolphins was going to happen. It doesn't get settled. I believe 20 of the 24 were going to agree, or 22 at the time were going to agree to it, or maybe it was 18, whatever it was. A good majority was going to agree, but not all of them were. And the owner said, hey, we're not taking you unless all of the cases are covered. And the shitstorm that the Browns have had to go through, it's probably good that we avoided that. But at the same time, and they're not done. But at the same time, man, six games ain't a lot. Like 6 games isn't, and for Deshaun to be on this roster, and I'm taking the person out of it because I his actions are reprehensible, but doesn't play. He's a good player. He's a good football player.
Yeah, looking at it from strictly X's and O's approach.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough to look at.
All you can hope for is that I just think you're going to be in the same boat where Tua does just enough to where we're going into this next year, and say you win 9 games. Yeah. Say you win 10. This roster is very capable of doing that.
This roster wins 10 games.
The floor is 7.
Yeah. This roster, I will say.
If you do less than that, there's a blow up coming from someone.
This roster wins 8, 9 games. If we're 8, or if we have 8 or 9 wins at the end of the season, it's not because Tua is so good or is improving. If we have 11, 12 wins, that's Tua bringing him up. We have less than 8 or 9 wins, in my opinion, aside from just major injuries across the board. Tua let us down in a couple spots. I just don't think there's going to be a way we come out of the season without saying one of those 3 things. That's where I'm at with it. Anywhere else you want to go from a fantasy aspect? Where are you at? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, really good.
The price tag that is on Tyreek, though, falls at the end of your first round. For me, I'm probably going to punt that. I have no doubt that the Dolphins, Mike McDaniels, what's his name?
McDaniels.
That he's smart and capable enough coming from the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. He's going to utilize one of these guys in Tyreek or Jalen as that Deebo Samuel role. No doubt there. I just cannot pinpoint which one it is. In fact, I think it's going to be both of them. I think that's what you do. You're not appealing to the fantasy market. You're appealing for what can win you games. And having two guys with this type of skill set that falls into that same skill tree of short yardage, get them the ball in their hands, and they can make 2-3 people miss and take it 80 to the house. That counts statistically for Tua on just balling out. With him having to do the littlest work, that's what you want for a quarterback, is to not put him in spots to have to push it like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know which one. Give me Jalen Waddle at the end of the third versus Tyreek at the top of the first. Yeah. I think statistically 100%. They'll be around the same.
They're going to be very close. Tyreek, I honestly, I'm worried about Tyreek. Like, I love him as a player. He's an awesome player on the field.
He ought to get paid.
Yeah, but it scares me how much he's talking. Like, if he has a game where he only gets 3 targets, is it just going to be the end of the fucking world? It feels like he could really fuck up morale a little bit. I am worried about that.
He's been all over Tua talking about he's up there with Pat Mahomes, the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, that is like, okay, you're up here right now. What happens in week 4 when we're, or week 6 when we're 4-2 or 3-3 and you only have 300 yards on the season? Like, that scares the shit out of me as a fan. That's what worries me. Yeah. I will say Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin, all running backs on our roster, all probably going into the season in our top 4. And I really think, deeper roster, you're probably not touching Myles Gaskins. I don't know where he's going to end up on that list. But deeper rosters, go grab one of them, because one of these guys is going to end up being a fantasy value. Don't know which one. Maybe Chase Edmonds, maybe Raheem Mostert.
I would take Mostert based now, health intact though. But I mean, his they're all the same type of back though.
Oh, 100%.
They literally fit what
it's the 49ers.
It's the 49ers.
Yeah, 100%.
To a T. I would take Mostert just because of his explosiveness and one cut ability. He has wheels.
Yeah, for sure.
The whole team's designed like that, though.
For sure. Anywhere else you want to go with the Dolphins?
Let's get to the Super Bowl winners.
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
Let's get to the Super Bowl winners.
Super Bowl wins. All right.
Josh Allen is only going to get better. I think he is guaranteed, even if you ask a hater, a top 3 quarterback.
He can get better?
He can get better.
No.
He can get better.
He's already number 1 in the league. He's the best quarterback in the league.
In my opinion, he is. No, but people would argue.
I don't.
I've seen people argue Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I've seen people argue, of course, Pat Mahomes, who I think does too much at times.
Yeah, look, so Mahomes, I think, is the only one that, like apples to apples physical ability you could maybe argue with, but like Josh Allen can just do a little bit more than Mahomes can, I think, with his size and ability, and he plays inside the system, I think, a little bit better than Mahomes does at times. Brady's 45 years old. He's fucking awesome, but he's not the most talented quarterback in the league right now. Aaron Rodgers, getting up there in age, super awesome. I'm sorry, like at a certain point, I need you to be a little bit clutch. I can't watch you in the playoffs against the 49ers. Your special teams loses you the game in what, a 10-3 game. I'm sorry, you're Aaron Rodgers. You have Devonte Adams on your team. You got to go down and win a game at a certain point.
And how many times have we seen that? Exactly.
Every year.
We've seen that story. I think year after year after year, you blame the roster, you blame the coach, you blame this or that. If you're Aaron Rodgers
is awesome. I need you to just be a little bit more clutch in those moments. Just lately, I'm not saying he's never been clutch.
Tom Brady did it with lesser rosters, and I'm sorry if that's your excuse. I can show you where the GOAT has prevailed.
And I'm sorry. Like what was it, 2 years ago when it was his first MVP run, or the first of the back-to-back MVP seasons. Aaron Rodgers lost to the Bucks in the playoffs. All right, the year the Bucks went to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady had a terrible game.
Yeah.
He threw like 2 picks. It was Aaron Rodgers' game to win. Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter had 2 different chances to go down, score a touchdown, win the game. 2 different chances. And couldn't get it done. At the end of the day, like, those are your moments.
What the 2 young bloods did? Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes put on the best show we have ever seen.
And I'm sorry, but Josh Allen, it's not going to get enough credit. The greatest playoff performance I think I've ever seen. I know it was only 2 games, but statistically could not have played better against the Pats the week before.
Yeah.
And then was
in the elements. Too.
Yeah, in the elements. And then you go into was it a home game for them? They played in Kansas City, I think.
It was Arrowhead.
Yeah, it was in Arrowhead. The greatest game of the season last year, maybe the greatest game of the decade. And yeah, you didn't have the ball last. It sucks. You scored too fast.
He threw more touchdowns and incompletions in that 2-game span. That's insane. That's Madden-like numbers.
Absolutely insane. Greatest performance. And yeah, it didn't go his way. Nobody's going to blame Josh Allen for that. And honestly, I 100% believe if they aren't able to go down, get the tie the game, and then win the coin toss, Josh Allen probably wins the Super Bowl this year. I really believe that. I think he was playing that good. That team was on fucking fire, and I don't see how they lose to anybody the next week. And that's the smoothest transition we'll ever have. Definitely didn't have to cut there. Anyway, all right, back to what we were talking about with the Bills before we get out of here. Acquisitions, man. So we already said this team could have won the Super Bowl last year. I genuinely believe that. What did they do to get better? Well, they just go out and get Von Miller. I'll let you talk about that for a second. Talk about that defensive line. Maybe been the biggest issue they've had for a while. They've invested a lot of picks in the D-line.
That's what I said right before we dropped out there, was just that he's going to be able to help, not only ability-wise, but just his mentorship with a lot of these young defensive linemen who they've invested so much capital in.
For sure.
And, I think that they have an elite secondary in Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White. There's a lot of different ways that they're going to be able to their defense it's so maneuverable with the way that they're able to throw different packages at you, different schemes, fresh bodies, especially on that defensive line. If they're able to correct the front seven, I think that they can have not only the best offense in the league, can be one of the best complementary defenses in the league too. And another piece that we wanted to talk about, swapping it over to the offensive side, would be James Cook. I think we're going to kind of swap it to a fantasy scope here and talk about, in my opinion, I've heard a lot of camp too, is that James Cook is going to get more meaningful carries than Devin Singletary.
This is the dude. Yeah. I really believe. I have it set up already where James Cook is the leader in the clubhouse for the running backs, and I haven't completely done my rankings for the Bills yet, but I do believe, James Cook is going to be the dude. I loved him in college. He's small. He's undersized. He's never going to be the true workhorse back. That's why he wasn't talked about, the same way his brother was coming out. His brother had off-the-field issues, but his brother, I think, is a little bit more of that workhorse guy. I think James Cook, maybe he gets to that point. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's it. I do think his talent, his physical ability, phenomenal, and that running back shelf life, we're starting at the beginning of it. We got 3-4 good years, I think, of James Cook. I think that's where we're at.
We're in a keeper league, so there's more incentive to go get him, because I do think next year value is where you see that exponential growth right here, because you still have Devin Singletary, you still have Zach Moss, who's going to get a little bit of situational carries here and there, but all in all, James Cook can be a difference maker in this offense.
Yeah. We saw Zach Moss kind of fumble the bag a little bit, and I mean that figuratively, just with the opportunities he had, didn't get it. Devin Singletary, again, just a small. It seems like this team likes smaller running backs. That's the guys they target. Devin Singletary coming out of a small school out of Florida. They don't need another big guy. It's interesting. I am excited for James Cook. I'm glad you mentioned him. Anywhere else we want to go? Oh, Gabe Davis, bro.
Oh, you are high on Gabe Davis.
I am high on Gabe Davis. He's my dude. I really believe, I think 75, 80 receptions for 1,100 yards is attainable. I think
it's a damn good number two. Well,
it's my ranking.
With the numbers that Josh Allen is going to demand, it only makes sense that the number two would. They have to accumulate.
Absolutely, and we saw Emmanuel Sanders. He was on his 5th team in 4 years or something. It was ridiculous. So he was aged out. I don't think
they even made a good asset out of Cole Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley, he's gone. So now this guy who's kind of been waiting in the wings, been good, got 4 touchdowns in that playoff game that they lost. Was the main dude there for a minute. It'll be interesting to see. Jamison Crowder is there. So
Isaiah
give him the credit.
McKenzie as well.
Yeah, they have some good pieces,
Isaiah
man.
McKenzie, they use in a lot of ways they're going to, I envision the Dolphins are going to use for a Debo or a Tyreek Hill. Yeah. I'm not saying that's Isaiah McKenzie, but his skill set is similar to that.
For sure.
They give him a lot of sweeps. They get him the ball in short space, and he makes people miss. He's good. He's a talent.
Absolutely agree. I think. Do you have anywhere else you want to go with the Bills?
We wrapped it up. AFC East, Buffalo for the Super Bowl.
We didn't do guess the line on these teams, so I do want to go back and just kind of
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia. All right, let's guess the line for the Bills specifically. I had one here. Guess the odds of him leading the league in passing yards. So you're guessing the odds. I will say he is not number one. I'll give you that Justin Herbert has the best odds at plus 700. So that's the hint I will give you as to where you think he might be.
I'm gonna say it goes Herbert. It would probably go Mahomes next. Maybe. They lost a lot. I'm going to say he is plus 950.
He is plus 1,100.
I wanted to say 11,
yeah,
too.
He's plus 1,100. I think that's, you're guessing the guy's going to get the most passing yards.
He's hurting against himself because of his legs. I think he's going to get about 4.
He's tied with 3 names, with 2 other names, Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. Those same odds. Who would you take over? Would you take either of those guys over Josh Allen for true passing? Now you got to remember, his value through it with his legs is real. I mean, he's good for 600-700 yards in the air.
If it was all purpose, it'd be different.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
going to take Dak. Dak, in the way that Dallas plays, they lack that defensive talent. I know they've been improving on that area, but they lost to Randy Gregory. We're going to get to them in the future. I'm just saying I feel like they're going to be in some shootouts, and I know Dak's ready to throw the ball.
Who do you think the favorite for the regular season MVP is?
I mean, it'd be the three-peat, right? Would it not?
Aaron Rodgers is 5th at 1,000.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is not in the top 6.
Wow.
Joe Burrow is 7th at 1,200.
Yeah, he should be.
Where do you think Josh Allen is?
It should be first.
He is first at 700. He's the favorite to win the MVP this year. And rightfully so. He's ready. He's there. All right, man. That's all I got. We could go back and do guess the line, but I think we'll leave that for another time. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to check Tyreek Hill's. What do you think the line is for Tyreek Hill? Just right before we get out of here. Just
Tyreek Hill receiving yards.
Yeah, let me find it.
They're probably going to be bullish and put it at 1,100. I'm going to say 1,150 actually.
1025.
Okay.
1025, which it's tough because that's a good line. That's good because I think 1,100 I probably go under. That's a line where it's like, man, you take the over at 1,000. Man, if he's healthy, like, yeah, I mean that's 60 yards a game almost, right? I mean 1025 divided by 17. If he plays,
it's about 60.
Yeah, it's exactly 60. Damn, I'm good. It's exactly 60 yards a game. So I mean, does he break? Yeah, I mean, feels pretty realistic.
He's gonna have one where he has just a 180-yard game. There's 3 weeks right there.
For sure. All right, that's it. We will close out here. We'll be back tomorrow with AFC North. We're doing AFC.
You want to do North?
We'll do North. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. We'll do North. And yeah, I don't know when these are coming out. They're gonna be coming out soon. So appreciate you guys. Do all the things like, subscribe, all that. Peace.